Okay, I'm just gonna jump right into this one because I'm starting to really get pissed off with this. So, not too long ago, I was recently watching the Frieza versus Megatron episode to keep up with trying to catch up on all the death battles that I've missed since my 3-year hiatus. And much to my surprise, it was actually really, really good. Like, damn good. I was really pleasantly surprised by how good it was. The animation was some of the best animation Death Battle has probably ever done, and most importantly, the characters were very well written and on point. The voices were spot on, and both characters were believable and did not act out of character in any way possible. I was almost kind of shocked, and it started to have a horseshoe effect where it made me start to feel anger by the end of it, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, Death Battle, how is it that you can make something this good like Frieza versus Megatron, which is really, really good? Like, everything about it is pretty much perfect. The only potential flaw with it is I have a lot of Transformer fans telling me that Megatron should have won. Now, I will admit, not a huge Transformer fan. Most of my Transformers experience is with the Michael Bay movies. I know Transformer fans, I know that's probably some kind of sin. I admit, I just never had the OG cartoon, so I'll do research into that, and if a debunking is necessary, that will come in time, but that's not my point here. My point here is, why is it that Death Battle can put love and attention to detail into Frieza versus Megatron, but when it comes to something like Naruto versus Ichigo, Madara versus Aizen, Gojo versus Makima, and even Vegeta. Poor Vegeta has been given the sharp end of the stick. He has shown up on 2 or 3 death battles, and each one has been a sprite matchup. Meanwhile, Goku gets 3 3D fights, Frieza gets a 3D fight, and I could be wrong, I think there was a 3D fight for Android 18 versus Captain Marvel. I might have to go back, I might be wrong on that one, it's been a while, but that's not the point. Why is it that those death battles cannot get the same attention? It's not even just the animation. It's also the matter of the way they portray the characters. In the case of Madara versus Aizen, again, I won't get too much into it, but the way in which they portray both Madara and Aizen is absolute horseshit. It is as if somebody wrote a bad fan fiction of Madara and Aizen fighting each other, but they also simultaneously knew absolutely nothing about the characters and actively hated both Naruto and Bleach. It made me think of Garth Ennis or something like that, where he basically writes the ultimate fuck you to comic book characters, even though he writes comic book stories, which makes no sense. Now, I don't know if Death Battle hates Bleach and Naruto or not. That's not the point. The point here is inconsistency. I have banged on this drum for so many years with Death Battle. Their inconsistency is absolutely frustrating. Now, what I actually want to talk about here is actually not Death Battle's inconsistency, because I talk about that all the time. It's not even about the animation quality, because I've already talked about that enough. I've made my stance on Death Battle clear. You already know all this, but what's really starting to frustrate me is something that I've been dealing with for years, and those who have followed me for a long time knows about this, my history with what I consider to be the Death Battle fanboys. And I want to emphasize this real quick. When I say Death Battle fanboys, I don't mean just anybody who watches and enjoys Death Battle. To me, there's a difference between Death Battle fans, casuals, and the Death Battle fanboys. I would consider myself a Death Battle fan, but I would not consider myself a Death Battle fanboy. I used to be a Death Battle fanboy, and that's how I'm able to understand exactly how these people think. I used to be one of them. I remember I used to be such a Death Battle dick rider that I would watch every video they ever made, no matter how good or bad it was. I'd watch every podcast, follow every tweet, listen to every interview, and it got to the point where I was living with my older brother at the time because I was still in high school, and it would just drive him nuts to hear me babble on about Death Battle. And I remember at one point he made a comment saying that, I swear you would suck one of the members of Death Battle's dick if you could. And at the time I said, probably. That's just how much of a blind fantard that I was. But getting more to the point, what I'm tired of are these Death Battle fans making the worst excuses for Death Battle. I do this all the freaking time. I will make some kind of fair, legitimate, reasonable criticism against Death Battle, usually in the comment section of a Death Battle video, and then here will come some Death Battle fan to make some tired argument that I've heard time and time again. Oh, well, you just hate Death Battle. Animation is hard to make. Oh, well, you just think that all animations for Death Battle need to be 3D. You're just a hater. And they always make the same excuses. And I will just ask a very simple question, like, why can't every Death Battle be on the same level of quality as Frieza versus Megatron, Optimus Prime versus Gundam? Hell, even the Goku versus Superman episodes, yeah, they're hated and controversial, but at least they have good production value. I can at least give them that. Most people will at least agree, yeah, I don't like that Superman keeps winning, but at least the fights are consistently good. So that's my main problem here. The Death Battle fans will always just blindly defend Death Battle and make excuses for them. I don't know if these people realize, but what they do is not helpful to Death Battle in the slightest. How is it helpful to Death Battle in any way to attack any criticism that is leveled their way and consider anybody who criticizes Death Battle some kind of hater? Like, you always say, well, Death Battle can't have every episode be of high quality. Well, why not? Well, why does it have to be that way? And I would offer the answer or question of, well, why can't Death Battle? Seriously, I don't understand. Death Battle fanboys will tell me, well, not every episode of Death Battle can be of the same high quality as other episodes, and I will ask them why, and they can't really give me a valid explanation. Or if they do give me an explanation, it's usually something along the lines of, well, animation is hard, animation is expensive. It's like, well, yeah, no shit it is. Nobody is saying that animation is not difficult, but that's why Death Battle has an animation team. That's why when you're not good at something, you hire somebody for it. And Death Battle has a whole team at their disposal, researchers, animators. I'm sorry, but once Death Battle started getting corporate sponsors, selling merchandise, and all that stuff, and especially putting up a Kickstarter now, like, I'm sorry, but you have no excuses. I am tired of Death Battle's excuses. There is absolutely no reason why Death Battle cannot make consistently good episodes. They absolutely can. Imagine if you were watching a TV show and one episode looked like Beauty and the Beast. Like, it looked really well animated, had a lot of attention to detail, looked great, and then the next episode looked like freaking Food Fight for no reason and just looked like crap. Would you say that that's acceptable? Probably not. So why is it acceptable for Death Battle to make one really good episode and then the next 2 or 3 episodes just be some low effort sprite animation crap? I don't understand it. I really don't get you Death Battle fans. I get that you like Death Battle. Fine, I like Death Battle too, but I also like getting good episodes from Death Battle. Why do you just sit here and slurp up any garbage that Death Battle gives you, no matter how bad it may be? Do you not understand that people feel alienated by Death Battle for a reason? Does that thought not ever occur to you that maybe there's a reason why these people are upset with Death Battle? I don't just go after Death Battle for no reason or because I hate them. I like Death Battle and I want to see them do better, and I know they can do better. Episodes like Frieza vs. Megatron is proof that they can do better. So why continue to make these awful excuses for them? It reminds me of a lot of old Bethesda fans, especially the Fallout fans, where when Fallout 76 came out, they just absolutely refused to acknowledge that it was a bad game, and nothing you could do could ever convince them that it was a bad game, and they would make every excuse for Bethesda and Fallout that they possibly could, even as Bethesda was consistently ruining the Fallout games, doing awful things like releasing crappy, shoddy products, frickin' false advertising people, scamming them out of money, but nothing you could do would convince these people otherwise. And I know that I want to make this perfectly clear, this isn't just a Death Battle fanboy problem. This is a problem with schmuck Sicker fans in general, that no matter what you do or say, they will think that the thing that they love is incapable of fault. I'll admit, I can be one of these people at times. I've often referred to myself as a Resident Evil fantard. I am a Resident Evil apologist. In my mind, Resident Evil can do no wrong, to the point where I will simp for the Resident Evil movies that everybody hates. But even I, as much of a Resident Evil fanboy as I am, I'm at least able to try to set my fandom aside and acknowledge when something Resident Evil is not good, such as Resident Evil Umbrella Corp or that god-awful Resident Evil Netflix show. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging when a thing that you love is bad. Criticism helps make people better. Why do you think I always encourage people, as long as you're not being an asshole, you can come to my comments and give me criticism? I encourage it because I want to know how I can better myself as a content creator, and Death Battle should feel the same way. Now, I know Death Battle doesn't care about people that criticize them. They welcome it. So all you Death Battle fanboys that are trying to simp for Death Battle by saying, stop criticizing Death Battle, you're being mean to them. Death Battle actually likes it when people criticizes them. They've said so in an interview. I've shown that interview where they don't mind channels like me or Seth or Sir Splash that call them out. They're fine with it, because they know that it gives them publicity, and I would also hope that they would understand that the criticism is probably useful. But what really irritates me the most about Death Battle fanboys is when they trot out this tired argument. Well, you're just mad because the character you like didn't win. You're just mad because they lost. What the fuck kind of criticism is that? When have I ever said that I think that a Death Battle is bad just because I didn't like that the character I love didn't win? Now, yes, if a Death Battle gets something wrong, if they get the research wrong, or they say that a character wins based on bullshit logic, yes, that is bad and people don't like that. Why do you think so many people didn't like Gaara vs. Toph or Goku vs. Superman? They felt that those characters lost because of bullshit, illogical reasons, especially where Gaara vs. Toph was concerned, which is one of the worst episodes they've ever made, and continues to be one of the worst episodes they've ever made. See, here's the thing with these people that I need them to understand. Unlike Death Battle, I am consistent with my beliefs. I am consistent with my criticism towards Death Battle. I am able to set any fandom I have towards a certain character aside to just objectively look at a Death Battle. As a versus debater and as a power scaler, it is my job. See, it's different for me. Unlike a lot of Death Battle fans, and especially casuals that just sit down and enjoy Death Battle, they can do that. But see, I don't look at Death Battle the same way they do because I've made a career out of criticizing Death Battle. And I try to keep my criticisms as objective as possible because subjectivity is, of course, something that is a matter of opinion. And whether or not I personally like an episode of Death Battle is irrelevant. I remember I actually didn't mind the episode Zorro versus Urza, and I remember way back in the day there were a lot of people begging me to review Urza versus Zorro, telling me it's one of the worst episodes of all time, and I'm like, I thought it was fine. But just because I liked it doesn't mean that there wasn't problems with that episode, and I probably should have covered it, and I most likely will at some point. But the point is, this is not just a matter of my opinion. I am legitimately trying to call out the actual problems with Death Battle in the hopes that they will get better because I want Death Battle to do better. I cannot stress this enough to all my naysayers and all the Death Battle fans. I am not out to get Death Battle. I want them to do better. I do what I do out of love for Death Battle, not hatred of Death Battle. Like, it is a known fact that people who hate something usually don't dedicate years of their life to talking about that thing that they hate. Now, if there are people out there that do that, okay, maybe they exist, but I'm not one of them. I like to talk about things that I enjoy. I've been watching Death Battle since I was in high school. I really do care about Death Battle. I enjoy them. Part of the reason why I am making Blood Royale is because I was inspired by Death Battle and mostly Deadliest Warrior, but in the same way that Deadliest Warrior inspired Death Battle and Deadliest Warrior have inspired me. And I aspire to be able to create a good show like them, and Death Battle should want their episodes to be consistently good. Think of Death Battle as if they were a TV show. You would expect a TV show to have a consistent quality, and when there's no consistent quality, people usually tend to not care. I mean, look at that Star Wars The Acolyte show. That show was absolute garbage, and as a result, nobody watched it. People just like good things. Good things are good things. If something's objectively good, people will watch it. Look at that Squid Game show. When that show came to Netflix, it got 10 million viewers? Its first episode? That's what you gotta do. And I'm not denying that Death Battle doesn't get views. I'm not saying that Death Battle has never made good episodes. They obviously have. That's why I get confused as to why these Death Battle fans feel the need to defend Death Battle like there's some small channel. Newsflash for you. Death Battle is not a small channel anymore. They are a big channel with big corporate sponsors. They are just as big as somebody like PewDiePie, ADGN, or even the Paul brothers. If it's fair to criticize Logan Paul and Jake Paul, how is it unfair to criticize Death Battle? Especially when they're dealing with characters that technically don't belong to them. They owe it to the creators of these shows to be respectful to their characters, because these characters don't belong to Death Battle. And this is something I have criticized Death Battle for. They need to evolve. Most content creators evolve. Look at James Rolfe. His episodes have gotten better since he first started out on YouTube, not worse. The same should be true for Death Battle. And I just can't stand when people try to tell me, oh, you're stupid. Vegeta versus Thor was a well-animated episode, and everybody agrees with that. Yeah, we'll see about that. Tell me in the comments below, to anybody who's watching this video, do you think that Vegeta versus Thor was well-animated? Did you enjoy the sprite animation, or would you rather have seen some 3D or hand-drawn animation? Now, that's just my main frustration with these fans. This is nothing new. I've been dealing with them for years. You can check the comment section of almost any death battle video. You could probably find me getting into a fight with some of these death battle fanboys. And I would also like to point out these death battle fanboys, they almost always come to me. They always seek me out. I never seek them out. Anyway, I think I'll stop it there. Believe me, I could keep going. This is the kind of thing that if I was able to live stream right now, I would have probably done as a live stream because I have a lot to say about this. Because the death battle fanboys are always a constant pain in my ass. In fact, if anything, as much as death battle may irritate me at times, something that irritates me more than even death battle is some of their fans, because they are just absolutely frustrating. Stop making excuses for Death Battle. Death Battle is not this tiny channel. They are a big channel with an entire team of people at their disposal. In Death Battle's own words, they have quote-unquote professional animators. So there's no reason for their episodes to be so inconsistent. And whether you like the sprite fights or not, I feel is irrelevant, because here's one last thing I'll say. Unlike smaller channels like One Fish Mob or Animation Rewind, who I have also covered, they do sprite animation because that's all they can afford. That's all they can do with the resources that they have. Death Battle does not have that same excuse. They have money, they have resources, they have teams of people at their disposal. They work with people like Devil's Artemis and stuff like that. They've even gotten big voice actors to work with them. They've even gotten big YouTubers to work with them. So they have more resources than these smaller channels. Going back to the point, back when Godzilla versus Gamera was made, there was a bit of a delay. I don't know if you remember this, but it was supposed to come out at a specific date, and there was a delay. I think it was something to do with like a hard drive or something like that. So they needed something to upload, and they quickly cobbled together Captain America versus Batman, and not only is it the shortest episode they've ever done, but it's probably one of the worst because it's something they literally admitted, we rushed this out because we just needed to do something. Whenever Death Battle does a sprite fight, they are only doing it because they need to get something done cheaply and quickly. That is why they do it. And if I had to guess, they only make these sprite fights to give the animators that are making the actual episodes that are actually going to have quality put into them good, like Optimus Prime versus Gundam, or Goku versus Superman, or Frieza versus Megatron. Rather than taking the time, another thing I bang on about, rather than taking the time to let these episodes cook, they'd rather put them out every 2 weeks. Now look, there's nothing wrong with having a uploading schedule. Even I plan on having some kind of schedule as to when an episode of Blood Royale would be released, maybe on like a one episode every month for a whole year kind of thing, and each season would be released throughout an entire year. I don't know, but the point is, Death Battle would rather rush something out. Even some of the 3D fights have suffered from this, because I point this out in other 3D fights, sometimes they don't allow enough time for these episodes to cook, and they suffer because some of the movements may come off as a little jerky, awkward, or unfinished. Hell, just look at my review of Mikasa versus Blake, at just how badly that was animated, to the point where it literally looked like a video game that was having stuttering frame rate drops. That's how bad it was. It looked like a lagging video game. And that's not the first or last time that that has happened. But again, if I keep going on like this video will go on forever. I know you guys like listening to me rant, but I got to limit myself. So, what do you think? Do you find the Death Battle fanboys frustrating, or do you think I'm just making a big deal out of what is only possibly a small minority of people? What are your feelings on the Death Battle fans and Death Battle in general? Let me know in the comments below. I apologize for not being able to get more recorded episodes. I'm working on trying to find good times in which I can get access to this room that I'm using, that I can get some peace and quiet to actually record these episodes without any interruptions or background noise. But I'll see you guys around next time.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?